All right, level 2 in 6.3 is computing the surface area and volume of cylinders. So if you think of a cylinder, think of like a soup can where you've got two bases that are circles, and then remember, like if you unfold a label, it really turns into a rectangle. So we'll talk about that, how that relates to your cylinder and how do you find the area of that kind of soup can label. Okay, so let's take a look at this cylinder. Let's talk about surface area first. So surface area is going to be composed of two circular bases. So remember, to find the area of a circle, that's going to be pi r squared. Since there's two of them, we'll multiply it by 2. And then the surface area of the label part is going to be 2 pi r h. So we'll add that together with the two bases. So that's going to be your surface area. So 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. And then volume. Volume is always known, you can always think of this if you forget, is the area of the base times the height. That will always work for any prism. So in this case, the area of the base is a circle, so we would take pi r squared and then multiply it by the height. So let's take a look at a couple of examples here. Number 1, it says find the surface area and volume of each cylinder below. So in the first one, we've got a radius of 8 and a height of 7. So here's my radius and here's my height. So surface area equals 2 pi times the radius squared, which is 8. So I'll square that. And then I'm going to add it to 2 pi times the radius again, which is 8, times the height, which is 7. And we're going to go ahead and keep these in exact form, meaning that we want to keep pi in our answer. So we don't want to multiply in our calculator by 3.14 or use the pi button. So we're going to leave pi out of this equation for a second. So we're going to take 8 squared, which is 64, and multiply it by 2. That's going to be 128 pi. And then the second one, 2 pi times 8 times 7, that's going to be 112 pi. And you can think of these as like terms. Since they both have a pi in them, it's almost like adding 128x plus 112x. We can put these two together because they both have a pi. So 128 plus 112 will equal 240 pi, which is our answer for our surface area. And our units are kilometers. So we got 240 pi km, and its surface area, so it's going to be squared. And then volume, following just the formula from above, remember it's pi r squared h, area of the base times the height. So here's that base, and then we've got our height right there. So this is going to be pi times the radius, which was 8, times the height, which was 7. And again, we want to keep it in exact. So we'll take 8 squared and be 64, and then 64 times 7 is 448, and we'll just leave the pi at the end. And we'll have km, this time it will be cubed because it's volume. Okay, in number 4 it says determine the lateral surface area of the cylinder below. So lateral surface area, what this means is we're not going to include the bases. Alright, so lateral surface area, no bases. And this goes for any figure. If it just says lateral surface area, it's not talking about the two ends. So whether that's squares, whether it's circles, whether it's rectangles, it's not talking about the bases. Okay, so if we take a look at this, we just want this outside colored in part. So remember, our total surface area was 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. Okay, and remember those were the bases. So we're not going to include those in lateral surface area. So lateral area is just going to equal 2 pi r h Probably something important that you want to write down for later use. Okay, so if we're looking at this picture back up here, we've got the diameter and we also have the height. The diameter, remember, is the whole length of the circle, while I just want the radius. So the radius is half the diameter. So our radius is going to be 6. So if I substitute into my equation, lateral area equals 2 pi times the radius of 6 times the height of 16. And that will equal 192 pi inches squared. For a final answer for your lateral area.